Hello, everyone, and welcome to Migrant Munch. My name is Dr. Sharika Senamiratna, and I'll be your host on this podcast. Let's dive into today's story. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Migrant Munch. I've got Wishmi here today, and I'll get you to introduce yourself, Wishmi.
Hi, Sharika. So, yes, I would love to introduce myself. So, I'm a counselor in Australia.
And so, what inspired that? What inspired you to become a counsellor?
Okay, that's a big topic, I guess.
Let's dive into it.
Okay, so being a kid who was not a brilliant kid for sure. I was just going to school, coming home, and never really had any idea as to what I wanted to be, who I wanted to be. And then I was writing for my A-levels and I knew I'm not gonna do well. Like a bunch of girls got together and we were just talking, okay, what are your future plans? What are you gonna do? Which university are you planning to go? I was clueless and all these other girls had ideas as to, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Started writing for A-levels and then did that and got my results. I didn't even get three S's. I failed the entire thing.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Wow.
Except for English, everything else I failed. I still remember I was crying to my mom saying, oh, I didn't pass. And internally, I was even telling myself, what did you expect? Like,
Mm.
it was you barely put effort in, and what did you expect to happen? Like, out of nowhere, something magical happens and you pass? No, like you did this. And then my parents sort of wanted me to do A-levels again because it's like a Sri Lankan thing where, you gotta pass your A-levels.
Mm.
That sort of took a toll on me. I was like, no, I don't think I want to do it again. Then I told my mom I wanted to do psychology. And then she was like, okay, fine. That was my journey into psychology. But then somewhere midway, I was like, how is this going to help me? Like, field of psychology in a country like Sri Lanka. Then again, I went to another institute and studied for my human resource and management. Like, at that time, there was COVID and there was a lot of stuff happening too. But somehow I ended up in human resource and management. And while being there, I remember, I think this was the turning point. I was not doing the work properly. Like I was not checking things properly. So I was asked to leave, and I was like, I remember being so heartbroken and blaming other people, thinking, oh no, like why are they asking me to leave? It's such a small thing. And I was blaming all these external people for my own mistakes and my own shortcomings. I felt like, oh, I'm not good at anything. Like it's so bad. Like I can't do anything. My self-confidence was ultimate low,
Yeah.
and I wanted to find a way to make money. So then I got into teaching. More I got into it, I felt like it's so draining. Like it's not like I'm teaching these people something I know. I have to learn it first and then teach them. Like, look, maybe I should go overseas, somewhere to study, to do my master's. And in that time, I also started doing another master's in clinical and health psychology because I felt like I got to do something. That also didn't go well because of COVID and all those things. Everything was online. I think another important thing I forgot to mention was how I came from psychology to counseling. So I went through a phase of psychology, human resource and management, teaching, and then counseling. So during that limbo period of COVID and all that, I started this social media like Instagram page called Mindspace, where I was talking about mental health. It became quite popular at that time, and there were a lot of people reaching out to come in for counseling. And that way, I started doing counseling. Honestly, part of me feels like, what the hell was I doing back then? Because I didn't have the knowledge I have right now to be there for those people. Because the more I learn about counseling, I understand I didn't have the knowledge I needed to help these people. And that was like a very big truth bomb for me. Didn't want to work with certain type of people because in my mind I was like, oh, I don't know how to work with people who are coming from abusive or parent separations or anything. Like I don't have a set guideline as to what do I talk to these people about, what do I tell these people. So in my mind, it was like for people with depression, you gotta have these things. For people with anxiety, you should have these things. People with coming from traumatic backgrounds, you gotta have these things. Like I felt like I needed to have a guide for all these types of issues that people present with. Then when I started doing the course, they were not talking about people with anxiety. They were not talking about people with depression. I was like, what am I learning? That I'm not learning anything. Like they're not teaching me how do I talk to a person who's coming to me with depression, with anxiety. They were just asking about me, asking about my childhood, asking about my emotions, asking about my feelings. Like remember we had this group, so we had to bring whatever that we are feeling at that moment. We have to stay in the here and the present moment. So everyone was like, what is this? So it was like a very big journey of understanding. I learned so much about myself than anything. That's what the whole course was about, understanding you and understanding how things are impacting you. Now I understand why I had to learn about me. I can't even figure out what I have gone through. How can I even help another person?
And do
Yeah.
you think that has made you a better counselor then, like knowing more about yourself? Because I know for us as psychologists, that's a big part of our practice as well, is being able to reflect on
Mm.
ourselves and how we're feeling. And we do supervision as well to
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
explore those things. So I would assume that's a very important part of being a
yeah.
counselor as well.
No, definitely. It's like coming from a country like Sri Lanka where there's not a lot of proper resources out there, not knowing what counseling is about, and then coming to a country like Australia and learning. Counseling is also learning about you
Hmm.
and actually being in the present moment. It's not about you doing, it's about you being with the
Yeah.
client. And that was so powerful. People heal in safe spaces. You gotta
Hmm.
create a safe space. You need to just be there for these people because most of the time, most of them have never had someone sit there for 50 minutes and just listen to them. And that itself is so powerful. I have this analogy that I use with my clients. I tell them, right now you're in this dark, deep forest, and you have all these tools. You need to create your path. You need to clear off any danger. You need to clear off any things that's obstructing you because you know you have the tools. Think of me as just a firefly just flying beside you and just shining a tiny little light and being there with you throughout your journey. So that's my work. I'm not your tools. I'm not you. I'm not some bulldozer trying to carve the way for you. I'm just a little firefly, and
Like a
and
guide.
that, yeah, just a little guide, and it's not even like a powerful, massive light. It's just a tiny little light. It just came to me in a session, and I still remember how my client reacted. It's very nice, like how you build relationships, not having this agenda to go anywhere. You just gotta sit with them with whatever they're
Like
bringing.
that's so powerful to know your whole story and to see how far you came. Because I can
Yeah.
imagine, especially like, because I went to school in Sri Lanka as well, and I
Hmm.
know during the time of A levels, it's so stressful, right? And to fail A levels and then to not know
Yeah.
where you're going from there, and then to have to be asked to leave a job that you're
Mhm.
doing and just not know where you're going next. And now
Yeah.
where you are, being a counselor and helping other people, that must have been
Yeah.
so rewarding for you to come full circle and sort of see
Yeah.
the whole journey of where you've been and where you've come to now.
Yeah, no, it's like even right now, me telling you all those things, it makes me reflect on like, oh, actually, like at that one point when I decided I want to do human resource and management, I thought my life is sorted. Like I thought I'm just gonna be a HR person and it's gonna be that's what I'm gonna be. And then after that them asking me to leave. I think that's the best thing that ever happened to me because them asking me to leave took the safe space from me, and I had to find ways to create that. And I had to find other ways to help myself. My love towards counseling and helping people and wanting to learn more about counseling just came through it, I feel like.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. I think also things happen for a reason, right? And so it seems
Yeah.
like is very suitable in this
Yeah.
situation where, yes, things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
Everything that happened to you brought you here.
Yeah. And like how I now, even like with my clients, what I tell them is right now you have come to a point where a lot of things are hurting, a lot of things are impacting you. But it's happening for a reason because with pain, with grief, with all this heartbreak comes a learning curve and a growth point. I think even for me, that was one of those times where I sort of learned a lot about myself, but definitely it only started when I came to Australia and I was forced to learn about myself and reflect on my actions, my
What
feelings.
was it like then moving to Australia from such a different environment like Sri Lanka and understanding mental health in Sri Lanka is sometimes
Yeah,
looked at differently?
I always had this idea that after I go to Australia, everything's gonna be perfect. And I might struggle, but it's not a lot because people in Australia seems to be having fun and life is looks really great. That's the idea I bought into Australia, but it was a tough ride. I'm so grateful to have my partner with me throughout the time because there was someone else for me to lean on to. And somehow when we came here, we were staying in Airbnb. We were trying to find places to stay for 4 or 5 months. We sort of stayed in one bedroom with all our massive luggages.
Wow.
So it's such a shock. Like you come from all this, you have all these houses, you have your own room, you have your own house, and then you come with your entire life packed in several baggages and it's just all lying on the floor. Only after a few months we found a place. I was able to find like an admin job in one of the colleges in Sydney. That way I felt like okay, there's something substantial and now I can start saving and helping myself and that way it was good that I found a job. And through that time, I was going to uni, and
What do you think was the biggest challenge? If you could just label one big challenge, what do you think that one was?
I think the biggest challenge was packing your entire life and moving, not
Mm.
knowing how it's gonna be, not knowing whether it's gonna work, not knowing whether you're gonna find a job. You never know how things are gonna turn out. But you come here and it's never an easy ride. You learn through your mistakes, you learn through the experiences you get.
And
Yeah.
it is hard if you don't have a support system. And I
Mm.
imagine that that experience strengthened your relationship as well with your
Yeah.
partner.
No, definitely like that's the part I didn't even touch on. Like before coming to Australia, my relationship with my partner was just simply crumbling down. And there's a lot of things that we carry into our married life or into our life that impacts when two people start living together. Same goes to him, same goes to me. That way, through the struggles, we had this term where we give each other a hug and we're like, it's just you and me, babe. Like, it's just you and
Yeah.
me.
Oh,
So,
that's so sweet.
yeah, it's like it's very powerful to even like have that little hug and be like, look, it's just you and me. Even if we fight, even if we have a argument, it's just gonna be you and me. We gotta sort it out. So that way it gave birth to a new relationship where it was just me and him. There were no parents, no one else telling us what to do, how to be, just me and him figuring things out. And
I agree. I think sometimes you have to kind of look at it in that lens, right? To think that you
Mm.
need a change in culture or you need a change in environment to
Yeah,
kind of see beyond the situations you're stuck in.
yeah. It's like we tell it like in Sri Lankan terms, we have that term where we say Linde in a gembo. Like you're like a frog in the well where you can't really see anything apart from that. And the minute you move away from that country, you get a whole different sense into the world and how you can view all these different things. How
Mhm.
I even think of it as from growing up in Sri Lanka, you were given a pair of glasses that you can only see one way. And the minute you come to a different country, you need to break that glass down and make your own and
Yes.
put more of your experiences, more of the things that you see into those glasses so you can put that in and look at the world.
I know not everyone gets that experience, but it is
Mm.
important. And I think it builds you up to a different level because you, like you said, you almost have to break down your identity and everything that you knew from the time you were born to
Yeah,
suddenly rebuild because you're like, oh my goodness, I'm in a brand new world with all these different
yeah,
people and different values and cultural
yeah.
understandings.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like values, like no one talks about values in Sri Lanka.
Mm,
I remember my mom saying, as a girl in Sri Lanka, you need to have a box. Like in her words, what she was trying to say is you need to have certain ways of doing things, and you should tell yourself, I'm not gonna do anything beyond this point.
mm,
But she was saying, I don't have that. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like a box? I don't want to be inside a box and just,
yeah,
do whatever that and limit myself.
yeah.
So, and the more I grew, more I basically moving into another country and studying counseling, I realized the box that she was talking about was values. Like I have my foundation, and underneath this foundation, I have these jewels that
Mm,
are holding this foundation together. So it could be my health, it could be my adventurous self, it could be relationships or whatever that I put in this foundation that keeps this foundation together. A huge shout out goes to my own therapist. Like even being a counselor,
hmm.
I don't think I would have been able to do the work I have done on myself just studying counseling. That's more like my safe space where
Yes.
I go talk about myself, talk about how things are, and I have learned so much through my own therapy.
And I think that helps you look at it from a different perspective because you're talking to someone, like, say, for example, in a different situation, if I came to you for
Mm.
therapy or for a counseling session, I would tell you my problems, but you don't know the background beyond what I tell you. And so
Yeah,
you might look at things differently because I'll be like, no, no, this is what happened. And you'd be like, yeah, but how about we look at it in this different light?
yeah,
And then I could go, oh, wow,
yeah,
I didn't think about
yeah.
that.
Yeah, no, like that's exactly what happened. Like when I was talking about this pair of glasses, like you come with this glasses that's been created by your mom, your
Mm,
dad, siblings, everyone around you, and they have carved it for you.
yeah.
And then when you come to a different country or when you start your own journey of therapy, you basically sit down, break it down,
What
and
would
like,
you say to someone who is still hesitating to go out and talk to someone about the problems they're facing and feels like, no, I can look after myself. I can do it on my own.
as Sri Lankans,
Hmm.
I feel like we always have this idea that, you have a community around you or people around you to talk to. So it's okay, like I have my people to talk to and come out of this situation. But at the end, all they can do is be there for you, give you guidance or give their experience of your problem and tell you, oh, I did this when I was in your situation. But therapy is vastly different to that. And your therapeutic journey is about you understanding, why am I in this problem? Why am I thinking about this problem like this? Why do I feel these things? You can't get it from anywhere else. And because of that, I think going to therapy is really important. I mean, it's not about like you don't have to have anything wrong or anything bad happening in your life, but just to go and talk to someone like a third party who doesn't know anything about you. She or he only knows what you bring into the conversation.
For
And
sure. I love that.
yeah, no, it's and like the other parties, obviously therapy is in Australia, it's not cheap. Like there could be a price point attached to it, but where possible, like people who are in the community are able to offer certain concessions or certain things that could be helpful for you. Like don't be scared to reach out and be like, look, I'm just a student, and I'm going through these financial issues. And people in the community are able to help you. And I mean, even a person like me, I would be more than happy to help someone in my community who's going through difficult situations and
Yeah.
do whatever that's possible from my end to help you. So,
Definitely, because it's not
yeah.
about the money at the end of the day. It's about
Yeah.
helping someone or helping someone to untangle the problems that they're facing in life, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand, that sometimes you need that third party support. And that's
Mm.
part of the reason why I introduced some of the work that I'm currently doing around
Yeah.
coaching people who are
Yeah.
having struggles at work as
Yeah.
migrants,
Mm.
because we could face different problems as migrants in the workplace where maybe we feel lonely, maybe we just feel
Yeah.
isolated, maybe we're not finding meaning at work, but we sort of just feel like, no, I need to just,
Mm.
grow thick skin and show up at work, which doesn't help. It's not going to
Yeah.
help you at
Yeah.
all.
No, that's like the work you do is always really powerful because at the end, when the minute you go into the workplace, and especially being a migrant, you're like, oh, I just gotta do it. Like,
Yeah,
if I don't show up, if I don't do this work, I won't have a job, I won't have money. So
that's true.
you get this tunnel vision and you're like, no, I just gotta forget about everything and just go to work, do whatever I have to do. But with the right support, you understand, no, like, especially in a country like Australia, you have all these like policies and you have all this help that you can get to help yourself. And
That's very important. Yeah. Thank you so much, Vish. I really
yeah,
appreciate
no
you
problem.
agreeing to have this chat with me. And I
No
think we've
problem.
uncovered a lot about how important therapy is and how important
Yeah.
it is to go out and get some support, and even just have that initial conversation. If you feel like you can't afford it, have that initial
Mhm.
conversation to
Yeah.
see if there are other options available for you. So I do hope this has inspired someone out there who is struggling and needs to talk to someone to take that first step to reach
Yeah.
out to someone.
No, definitely. Don't be scared to reach out, and we are here to help anyone that's struggling.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Migrant Munch. If you really liked what you heard today, reach out to us, get in touch, tell us what really inspired you, and we'd love to connect with you and hear more about your story.